Gaeilge Weekly is brought to you by Learn Irish Online. For way more shows, videos, podcasts, and courses for learning the language, head to learnirishonline.com or patreon.com/learnirishonline.
You've been the best of times to walk me through my darkest days. Why must I turn around? I ask myself. This just ain't fair, so hard to bear. I'm not really sure these days. You walk away. You don't.
Welcome back to the show, Fosrash week on show, and as always, Marskanach, Mila Buikas, a big thank you for tuning in this week to episode number 98 of Gaeilge Weekly. Gur Mila Magi as tune all shock week episode ever a noch hooked de Gaeilge Weekly. How are we all doing? Conas Talmud Galer, hope all is going well for you guys. Tasulum Gul Ruddy Eg Dol Goma Livsha. This week, gonna be speaking a little bit about the Eurovision, and the Eurovision specifically this year. So, an tachtan show to my Gary Lord speaking in Phointe Eurofish, agus gohari on Eurofish, a mlína that took place in Switzerland, in Basel, at the weekends of your shul. San Elvish in Basel, egg on zero shatana shikatsa. And anybody who's listened to Gaeilge Weekly since the start, has gone back and listened to previous episodes. So, in dinner, éisteacht le Gaeilge Weekly nar hosímuds an podcréile nó beidir a huirás chun éisteacht leis na cín níos luha to go back, or who has gone back and listened to the earlier ones, you'll know that I pretty much do this every year, the kind of episode or the week after the Eurovision Song Contest happens. Téanna mé seo ceapan gach bliain. Yeah, we should Déanta gabhils fé 3, gabhils fé 4 agus níos gabhils fé 5. So I did it in 23, 24, and now 25. And a lot of people say to me, a lot of people I know, like friends and family, I'm like, I'd never think you'd be interested in the Eurovision. Like, ní bheith clú agam go make sim agatsa san Eurofish. And I kind of get that. I suppose I'm not a typical Eurovision fan. My other interests in life aren't to do with performing arts, or obviously the Eurovision has a huge following from the LGBT community. Tá chuid's words and leanúint na Eurofiche éisteacht on bubble LGBT, which I'm not part of. And yeah, I'm just not the typical person you would think would be into Eurovision. Níl mis mar is tócha an Gnáthleagan and an duine typical a bheith sim acúb san Eurofiche. But I do like it. I don't know why. I've always liked it since I discovered it. I remember my sister showed it to me, I think the first time in 2007 or 2008, beidir don chéad or Gabhils Shacht, no Gabhils Hocht, Gabhils Shacht, yeah, I think Dervla was representing Ireland that year. Dervla, that might not be her name. But not was in Antanum of Erhi. But I think that was who was representing Ireland this year. Captain Girl Shishig on the Dhéag son na Heron on Flin Shin. But anyway, not too important. In 2008 was definitely Justin the Turkey. Gabhils Hocht, Gandalsh Vishay, Justin the Turkey. And I couldn't understand why Justin didn't go through, because at that age, at the age of 8 or 7 even at the time, I thought this is brilliant. We missed winning but that was also the peak of kind of block voting and Russian voting and all the rest of it. But we won't get into that. We should mar an peak of Stokags na leihinta. It's massive the worst days, Jen. Chorus vótála, blach agus a landíine vótál, huig na rúsig, freshin, agus mar sin deach ar énos níl muns an láirt frí sin. And yeah, not going to speak about that today, but yeah, I've always really liked it. I guess two of my biggest interests, gach jaun ten dá simas mó atágam is tócha ar music and languages, ceol agus teangacha. And Eurovision is the perfect place to gonna hear both, especially this year. I thought it was brilliant. I'm gonna kind of talk through a few of the songs now, or what I thought of the final itself. To my hanlart spugnin foi na harán se frúla agus cala chapme foin gomórtas generalta. In a few minutes, a young couple nomad, but one of the things I really liked about it this year, Ceantan a ruddy a hatníon gomórlum in mlína na an maids Aaron and sin Nachrau in Maryland, the amount of songs that were there that weren't in English, that were in the native languages of the different countries that were there, Tanga Dúchas, leis na tíortha de friúla, a bhí an sin, or maybe in a mix of English and French or Italian or kind of bigger European languages, Tangaka níos mó, timpeall na Europa, and that's one thing I really liked about it, rather than just tuning into the vinyl. And out of 26 countries, only 2 of them have English as an official language. Níl an mBéarla acu mar cheann go offal go like beidir rá nó trí here on sin, the UK and Malta, and maybe that's it, right? Déanta, Malta, agus sin but all of a sudden everybody's doing their song in English. Tá gach duine ag seolú aran in mBéarla, everybody sent a song in English. So I kind of liked how it was different and you had different languages and actually kind of showing a bit of, places' musical culture, like Latvia, for example. I really like Latvia's Hatan an Ceann le Latvia gcomhpháirtíocht. And I don't know, people can go again if you haven't seen them and look up these songs on YouTube or wherever. Tá daoine an dul go YouTube agus féchans na Harran sub. But the Latvia one, it seems like something again you would never get in Ireland or in the UK or Spain. Like, níofa rudding sulla sin in Éireann no sa Spáin no sa ríoch Déanta. But it did seem something that I know. I've never been to Latvia. I know nothing about the country. Ní léon rud all sam Phointe, but it did seem something that might be like quite traditional in Latvia and have a lot of traditional roots. So I much more enjoyed that than everyone just sending a Dua Lipa double, gach den ag sola double or Dua Lipa, or kind of doing an act of whatever's popular around Europe. Ag déanúacht agus ag déanúireacht chur Gaeilge gohfuil siad mar duine anna cháúil san Europe, So I enjoyed that element of it as well. But yeah, this year I must say, normally there's 4 or 5 songs I really, really like in it. Déag ná being hard to care no chuig aran agus taníonn siad go mór lom, and I put them in my Spotify playlist. And even now when I go back and listen to Spotify playlists from previous years, few inis nar him arash agus bí me éisteacht le playlists ó bhfuilínta eile. A Eurovision song might come up every so often, like Saldi by Mahmood, I think, which was in 2019, the Italian entry in Unstral, as an idol, ó Gáhíle is an Dhéag, and that'll just come up on my playlist and makes me think, I must have added that like the week of the Eurovision that year. Cinse go chur é sin is seach in my playlist, seachtain na chur físe Gáhíle is an Dhéag. Or just a random song, could be from 7 or 8 years ago, even further back, that I really liked, that, they mightn't have won the competition, I mightn't have heard the song really much since the actual night of the show a few years ago. Seans mal nach rá or nach bhfuil an tar an cloist agam ó beidir seachtain an so cuaig sé seacht och ní 10 mbliana hin. But I really liked it at the time, put it in the playlist, and it'll always kind of come back up again and again once every few months on Spotify. Tá sé chun teacht an níos aríis beidir or one gach cúpla mín or one in ein bliana Spotify, and I think that's cool as well. And again, having these songs in different countries, hon na Harran so ó tíorthid sa friúla a bheith agat, because it's so easy just always be listening to American and British and Irish music. Tá sé éasca gcónaí chun a bheith géisteacht le ceol an stáitianta, an ríoch Déanta, agus ceol éireannach fresh, and that's all great. But to listen to music in different languages, or at least music from different countries, I think is really cool, and something as a big music fan I enjoy doing. Sin rud a níon gcomhpháirtíocht agus buinm sór tathnamh as a bheith déanamh rud éigean cosúil le sin. But this year I must say there was only one song that I really, really liked. Ní raibh ar an bháin a hatan go mór lom, and that was the song from Germany. So sin Unstral na Gearmána, Germany's entry. It was, let me get the names up here, Baller, cosúla Baller in mBéarla, but I do think it has a different pronunciation in German. Ceapan goil fumnú zifruil so Germanisch. Baller le, that's a challenge, Aber und Tina? Nilsam, I'm not sure, and my Deutsch isn't very good, even though I studied it at school. Níl mo chuid Germanische róha na leighn seo, céigean dhearna me stadsar school. My Spanish and Italian would be much, much better. I haven't practiced the German in years. Ní léon clachta déantagam an Germanis le blianta anús. But yeah, I really like that one. Now, if people are thinking, I must go listen to this, if you're not into like dance music and kind of, I don't know what genre this is. This I'm really kin genre. I thought I guess it's tech house, maybe. kind of Baitser, but it's not as kind of repetitive as tech house might be as well. Like, for example, I like house, I like tech house, well, a bit of tech house, I don't like techno. So is matlum house, is matlum go Phointe areno, so Phointe is matlum tech house, but I don't like techno, only matlum techno really. There's not many techno songs. It's just a bit too repetitive, even just a bit too dark at times for me. Ornta just beautifully roghurcha, dumps, and I love house disco. What else would I say? I like liquid drum bass and when one's uplifting and a lot of energy. Nor tá sé stocha a chur ag multnis farhu agus comala sin nor vinland funyv lesh agus funyv darfuk, kind of positive energy with it. That's something I definitely like a lot. And this kind of was more on that side, even though it definitely wasn't house or disco by any means. You're now say, ní house though, ní disco vi gesh dhaoine rud mar sin ní churbe, but it did have that kind of uplifting party. It was a real kind of party song. So I really enjoyed that. And I've been listening to that a lot over the last few days, and a good remix I found of it as well. Remixing a hánig mé called Matt. That's great when you find a song you like and then you realize there's also a load of good remixes of it. That's the point of a remix for me. It's like, okay, you like this song? Guess what? Here's kind of another spin on it, another version for you to enjoy. Sin cadatá geis le remix ceart dar lumsa aréanas. Okay, that níon an taran seo, lat ítach, seo sais lagan zifriúil. No, another spins zifriúil an aran. So I really like that. It did okay. It finished 16th in the end. No, that's the running order, but I think it did finish roughly the same place. 14th, was it? If you go into the Eurovision Wikipedia page, my hintu Gnáthleagan Wikipedia, there's so many tables and a list of countries for semi-final to televoting, semi-final to jury, running order, final, jury, final, all this, and representatives and broadcasters as gach Ella, I can't will say on shot yeah, an Uster Ibrahim. So Crichny on Kiarmon. It's a Kugawatts Dhéag, but it was quite close. If they'd got even a few more points, they would have been about 10th or 11th, and then right ahead of 16th. Fishi the Wad, Hunchin, Idson Agus, Lithuania, Lithon. So Sheo Hot Seg. So I really like that one. Honestly, there weren't too many others that I really liked. There were some that I liked and enjoyed. Fi couple count Ella Agus. Hadn't she lom agus when my tat navastu, but I wouldn't be going to Spotify specifically to put them on. Ní bhéin ag dul with Spotify, gazir chun na hard sin a chur shul. Other ones I liked, France would probably be my number 2 on a rank, and I didn't really like it the first time I heard it, or I thought it was a bit boring. Cat Michigrash at Bígí la Dranach and Céadaoin a déist me lesh, but then when it started coming up again and again, on sin nar hánig sé ní saríis, and they performed it in the final, agus rinne siad on performance on sin sa bhálta ceannis. And then, of course, after they play this recap again and again and again and again, trying to get you to vote, basically, and showing you all the songs, kind of 10-second clip, 10 second, they'll gach on. And when they were playing it again and again, I realized, wow, it's really actually catchy. Maman by Luan, although again, my French isn't, well, I don't have any French at all. Elaine, Frankie, Sam, or Herbe. But that was really good. I was surprised that didn't do better. It finished 7th in the end. So shocked to watch. And I think that and the Swedish song are on the Sualana. They were the two kind of big favourites. Vi Sheetson mar on the favourites agus on the here. Vi gach den a capu grow on rank no on Tualon on Buchens, but in the end it was Austria. I also like Latvia. As I said, it was definitely alternative, definitely different. Gone out vi said different. Alternach, are on alternach a vi gest. But I wouldn't say it was strange, because it's again it was probably quite traditionally Latvian. Again, I don't know. Maybe people in Latvia were saying, "What is this?" Shansmagra dini Latvia gra cad atá a gesh le seo. Like this is seo mar chuid their gold tour. But of course, me, an Irishman, has never been to Latvia, knows nothing about it apart from the name of the capital. Níl clóan fi einrod ag winch the Latvia shakas anam on Fríomhchathair. Of course, I can look at it and say, oh, that's probably traditional Latvian culture. Shansmag will say sin mar culture to the Déanta on Latvia. But I enjoyed that again. Is it the type of thing I'd go see live if they came to Seville? Probably not. Like on Phéinnig dul honey the Ekal Bio, most of the dagan seed and so go Seville. Probably not. Shansma nienthin. But in terms of enjoying it on the night and kind of appreciating the performance is dócha and yeah, just enjoying the performance. Like points tapping as on performance agus on show a chur siad siúl. I definitely liked it. I really liked it. Happen to say gcomhpháirtíocht. Those probably be my top three, to be honest. Germany, France, and Latvia in that order on Garmal, agus an rank agus Latvia. Some order sin. Other ones I liked, just going through the list here. Norway, didn't really care. But Luxembourg was okay. I liked, again, going through these songs, all the different languages in the running order. Béarla, on sin Rankish, on Nadális, Mascon is on Béarla, Hebrew, agus an Rankish, Lithuanian, on Spanish, Béarla, Islanish is dócha, I guess that's Icelandic, on sin Latvian, agus Cínella. So, yeah, hansa sin, lo ma maid sangacha de friúla, chlustal agus an sin sa bhiltí leachcheannis fi fiú níos mó cín nach rá Merla. There were even more ones. It would have been very easy for the Eurovision to have just become this thing where you have to send a song in English to win, but plenty of the songs over the last 10 or 15 years that have won haven't been in English. A chuid wat and a haran a vui le zet no cú blin Dhéag an ús ní ráisiad I Merla. So I do think that's cool. Ceapan goes to sin fear cool, because I hate this idea of English just becoming the dominant language everywhere in Europe and everywhere in the world. Is fuúlam an smaoine seo gohfuil an Béarla Honáirí mar an príomhtheanga gach agus by Béarla chuile duine fud an down. Okay, dul tríd an list the chríochnaí Israel sa dárát ní ceacht mé grá ar an Israel róha anáis profisiúnta agus show ulwar bhí gceist mar ar nóítá Israel géirí rud éigen a churnúil agus tá siad géirí íomhá is tócha a churnúil. They want to kind of express an image and give off a certain image and put that out there, which they certainly did. Whether people believe it or not, it's a different story. Má chreid an daoine sin scale ar friúil, but they always kind of are quite strong and did very well. I mean, they won the televote. Whether that was legit or not, I think is a different story. In the Sam nor sin. Fair also, no on rail beds are beginning meddling against sin, and if there was a bit of a tomfoolery, as you'd say, but that's a discussion for a different day. And who else? Estonia. I didn't like Estonia's. I mean, it was quite catchy. Visha saw catchy, agus vi melody ma, agus gimmick all over, but I thought it was very disrespectful, to be honest. Ceapan bhí aspa mass. Tríos tríd ag buint leis. There's a big kind of lack of respect connected to it, because if you didn't see it, it was this guy rapping in Italian, or not rapping actually, he was just singing in Italian in Canu, son Nadális. Yes, Estonia's entry, singing in Italian, and kind of just playing off a load of Italian stereotypes and kind of making fun of them. For me, anyway, I thought it was that. And I'm quite, you should be able to say what you want and do what you want. And if people get offended by it, that's their issue. Má hógan daoine offence le rud éigen sin an aibetá acúb, so it's cuma le sin. But for me, I thought it was disrespectful to be at a competition which is all about countries around Europe coming together, being united by music, as they say, ceangalsa, le ceol, and the whole idea is whatever differences people have, we all like music and we can all send songs representing our culture. Tumadsanan Aran Sifrula Hiola Egdana one the Déanta our son our gult our hain. And to kind of send a song which is just completely making fun of and disrespecting Italians and genuine Italian culture, which is massively important to the Italian people. Tá fear havdach the Winster na Hadala. I thought that was a bit crass. Stocha, and a bit kind of just rude in general, druchfeisach, and I don't know, really should songs like that be allowed to compete as well, where it's just directly mocking another country? I know there's bigger issues here in terms of whether Israel should have been allowed to compete and should Russia be allowed to compete and all that, and that's probably a bigger issue, but stuff like that I thought it was a bit classless and a bit disrespectful, to be honest. And just, imagine again if you did that about Black people or people in Asia, or Chinese people, Dini Gurma, Dini Snafric, Nashinig, there'd be uproar. So again, why should a proud country like Italy, whose culture is very important to them, why should they be allowed to be made fun of? So I didn't really like that. Other ones, Ukraine, I quite liked the Ukraine, Hathan Kyan Sinlum. The UK's one was as bad as ever. The Unkianish on Déanta. sochtonna I mar hirm sin ní se roá a churb agus te ná ní bhín sé roá. The winner, I haven't spoken about the winner, ní leon rud rát agam really faoin mútsor. That was JJ agus Wasted Love. Yeah, I liked it. His voice is unbelievable. On Ru atá aige dochredse, and apparently he's kind of a trained tenor, or he's got a lot of classical training and kind of that old school singing. And that is their word, I suppose, kind of opera voice, gusach opera, but it certainly wasn't an opera song, but that's cool. I think he used, it was kind of similar to the song that won last year, Rishisachasúil leis an áran a bhuaí an nuri, actually in cean le Nemo, or Nemo, Níl sagam cén tanam atá no cén fumnú atá I don't know what's the best way to pronounce this or what his name is. But it was good. I mean, again, I wouldn't be listening to it again and again, but it was a very kind of professional job for feabhas and the staging, and lubber Aaron's thoughts, very good. And even doing it in black and white and the kind of boat gimmick and stuff. You always need something, a small gimmick. But that doesn't mean you can just, again, take the piss completely. Agus rud like Shaffelduck and just to do something nonsensical, but having the little boat there on bod leis and kind of sailing away on the boat, of a shoal on sailor and mod. That was cool. Different, definitely different gone out. Cool. But yeah, again, would have been maybe my 6th or 7th favourite song. Beidir an séú nó seachtú arán is fearlam. And other ones, Latvia, as I said, just going down the running order here. Italy's was quite good. I enjoyed the Italian ones more this year, I suppose, because I'm learning Italian and I could understand a good part of the songs. Bhí man an chuid wa den na hárán san na dális a hiiscint, so to be able to understand a good part of the songs in Italian. There were 3 songs in Italian. Bhí 3 hárán, 3 bheán na hdáilise, because there was obviously Italy's, obviously San Marino's, Arnoi v an cean na Sinidal, an cean na San Marino. But as well as that, there was the one with Estonia, as I've previously mentioned, mar Louis May v an cean leis on Estonia. So yeah, Italy's was quite good, and I liked how they put the subtitles in English as well below, and I wouldn't be surprised. I guess they just asked Eurovision, could they do that? So Italy were the only one who had a song not in English, but also put subtitles for the song kind of as part of their staging underneath their performance, which I didn't know you could do. Níor sagam grau Céadaoin é sin a dhéanú. But they did that, rinne si é sin, and it was good because if you didn't speak Italian even, okay, I speak Italian somewhat, tá dála sagam ní go fearfa, not perfectly, but okay. And, it was still tough for me, obviously, to understand bits of it. So it was cool because that was a song that, again, wasn't based on the show or pyrotechnics or anything like that. Ní rá an rud is tábhachtí an sin the pyrotechnics, the one show umlán, no rudí ar siúl ar an státe. It was just about the song and the story itself on Tárán agus an scale ag buint leis. So because of that, it was good to have the words and kind of be able to follow along the story. Bhí go má hána bheith in an istócha an scale a leanúint. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that next year, in a few years, a lot of countries who are sending songs not in English will do. Ní chorcha sé iontas dá méich ó bhhad níos mó tíortha, ag seoladh ra an nachhfuil mBéarla, má dhéanann siad é sin an bblionse thugann agus blianta eile as seo amach from here on out. So that was quite good. Enjoyed that one. Poland I also liked, some Poland. Hatton Salem, Germany, as I said, my favourite, and German Lechanis Farlam. Portugal as well, I thought was quite good, but they could have, if there's a bit more energy or a bit more upbeat, I think it would have done really well. But it was kind of, I don't know, reminded me of kind of music from home and those kind of indie bands almost, Bannichol indie. Sin, Kershay Sin, Igwivnadum, kind of reminded me of that. Sweden as well, who, as I said, were the favourites to win. Fiantulan mar the favourites in Buchens, agus Chiap Gacht and a Grausid on Buchens. They didn't even finish in the top 3 in the end. They're creating sheet come last scale. It's the top 3. So Jared, it was a bit gimmicky again, but it was quite a catchy song. And I suppose at least they were talking about their own culture as opposed to, again, some other countries' culture. Vi siad glarts when the culture hain agus culture na Fionlana, their neighbours as well, instead of just making fun of a country on the other side of Europe in Och about Magu Fuitsir T-Velds and Orp. So yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. San Marino's as well, which is, I think that was the guy who made Blue Dabba Dee Dabba Da. that famous song from the 90s. That was the guy who's representing San Marino, sin lad. Phointe one of Déanta or son San Marino. San Marino is so small, I don't think they often have someone from San Marino represent them. Often they have, they had Florida one year. If you Florida acu blin a one, so they just kind of get someone a bit random, I guess. I really need to look into San Marino and the history of it, and why is it a country? Kinfá will say mar tír, and how did it start? Kinfá no chunas a hussí sé, and the history behind it, because it seems like an interesting place. And it's not even like they have their own language, I don't believe. Sorry if they do. Brunner, Mata, Dhéag a féin acu, but I think they all speak Italian there, and they all see themselves pretty much as Italian, but I could be wrong. Béidir nach bhfuil ceart agam leis sin, but I don't think it's like a massive kind of movement or a different culture. Ní ceapan gúil chultúr fiúr your friúil acu. Again, I might be completely wrong there. Chance gúil mé céad fungéid mi ceart an, so it might be like Ireland and the UK. Chance go my Shigsaléra agus an ríg Déanta, so I'm sorry if I am for all our listeners in San Marino. Na éisteacht ar fad is San Marino who are trying to learn Irish. Like Déanta an Gaeilge a ólam. But yeah, that was it really. I don't think there was too much more from the Eurovision, but I enjoyed it. When my feabhas, it was good. And again, I'm not a massive fan. I'm not going to be following it now for next year in terms of where it's going to be hosted in Austria, Cén lots of Eipeasóid and Ulster, and the 70th anniversary and all these things, go say nation. So le seacht Dublin and News, agus na really difriúla siúl and rud sin, the different things going on for that. But it was enjoyable when my feabhas gone doubt. So not too much else on here in Seville this week. Ní mór eile siúl, and so is Seville and Tachman show. It's getting hot. Bit by bit, it's getting hot every week on the podcast. You're going to hear me talking about the heat in between now and the end of August when it hits its peak. So when we larts fin, I'm sure ceapan gach and idir agus Jeremy Lunasa agus I'm sure agari níos show agus níos show gach and idir agus Jeremy Lunasa. But trying to enjoy these weeks, May and June especially, because after that it's just going to be too hot really to do a lot of things in Yishin. But Sharoya really hunalan ruddy a yenu. And yeah, no major plans for the week. Just doing a lot of work, focusing on the work a lot these days, because obviously be taking a bit of time off in the summer and a bit of travel and a bit of, I suppose, different stuff going on really different schools. So trying to lay down a good foundation and put in a good bit of work and get a good bit ahead on stuff like Patreon and Instagram and things like that. I'd say the word dul hon chin o yanu lesh on Instagram agus Patreon agus ruddy ella. But yeah, that's it, guys. I think I'll leave it there for this week. Next week we'll be back with episode number 99. I grunt iver nochani. Crazy that's how many episodes we've done, and again 2 or 3 versions for every episode. Gnáthleagan to gach podcréile comala sin. We'll look forward to speaking to you again next week. Tnu gomor le lauert liverish on Tacht and Shahug. And don't forget, if you are learning the language, as I presume most people listening to this podcast are, matatu ag fólam na Gaeilge agus tasulam no ceap marinos kun na chuid mo jadini ag éisteacht leis an show gohfuil siad ag fólam na Gaeilge. There's loads more available at learnirishonline.com and patreon.com/learnirishonline. Gaeilge Weekly is just one of about 8 or 9 different shows we do, but most of them are only available to members on chuid mo acub níl siad le fáil ach le hai bhuil o one. They're only available to members over on the patreon.com/learnirishonline. There's a free trial available there, only €7 a month after that trail here in Eiasca le fáil an sin. Agus ní chusnín sé ach €7 in eine misa in sin. So if you're interested in that, head over to patreon.com/learnirishonline. Links below. But as well as that, any questions, issues, or any feedback on Gaeilge Weekly in Asholas in Ceisteanna, ein rud churbe is féidir leat rifust a chur chuigem with liam.learnirishonline@gmail.com. Shin liam.learnirishonline@gmail.com. But again, all details and all stuff like that na sunraí léir agus gachrod ag buint le sin hís sa description. Mille buchas as Gaeilge. Big thank you for listening as always. Chat to you next week. By me Lords live on Sachtans sa Hugan, Slán agus Balnacht. Goodbye and God bless.